All right, pretty solid night last night. I went 3-1 in NBA picks last night. As promised, today we're gonna go through the bet percentage, money percentage, and track the line movement for all the picks for today. So let's get right into it.
Welcome to the source. Hey, get the source. The source. The source. Hey, get the source.
First up, we're gonna start with Pistons versus Nets. Now, I capped this game at Detroit +4, but I did not realize that Kyrie Irving was gonna play, and it looks like he is gonna play. So that changes things. So let's take a look. This line technically opened up Detroit +7.5. But by the time all the books opened, the consensus line had dropped from 7.5 to 6.5. And you could see the early bets and money were both favoring Brooklyn. But take a look this afternoon. Take a look what happens here. The money does a complete 180. Ton of sharp money comes in on Detroit. Line has not moved yet. It's still at 6.5. But I would expect it, if this pattern keeps up, I would expect it to move down to 6 or 5.5 shortly. So for this pick, it's very simple. If Kyrie Irving plays, I'm going to play Brooklyn -6.5. If Kyrie Irving doesn't play, I'm going to play Detroit +6.5. But it looks like he's going to play, so I'm most likely going to bet Nets -6.5, lock it in. If anything changes, I'll tweet it out and put it on my Instagram story. So if you're going to follow me on this pick or fade me, make sure you check those two platforms to see nothing's changed. Next game up, we're talking SEC basketball here. Kentucky versus Arkansas. Now this line opened up Kentucky as the underdog, Kentucky +1, but a ton of Kentucky money came in. I'm talking 80% of all early bets, 89% of the money was on Kentucky. The line moves a whole 2.5 points. So Kentucky is actually now 1.5 point favorites as of 9 a.m. But just like the Nets game, this is crazy. You got two 180 flip-flop games in a row. We look in the afternoon, the money does a complete 180 again. This is crazy. A ton of sharp money comes in on Arkansas, and the line moves from Kentucky -1.5 down to 1. So we're looking at Kentucky -1. It looks to be settling. If you saw last night's video, you know I capped this game at Kentucky +2. So obviously if Kentucky's laying a point, I'm taking Arkansas all day. Give me Arkansas +1. Let's lock that in. You already know if anything changes, Twitter, Instagram story. Let's move on to the next. Next up, Texas Tech versus West Virginia. Now this line opened up Texas Tech laying 5. Texas Tech 5-point favorites, and everyone in the world was betting the Red Raiders. Ton of bets and even more money in on Texas Tech, and the line moves fast. It goes from 5 to 5.5 to eventually 6. Now, once it hit 6, we actually do see some West Virginia money come in, and it actually almost evens it up. None of this matters for me, though. If you watched last night's video, you know I have West Virginia favored in this game. I think West Virginia wins outright, so obviously I'm taking West Virginia getting 6 points without a doubt. I'll probably also end up throwing a crazy teaser down on this game, maybe West Virginia -4.5. For whatever payout that is, probably +300 something. I will tweet it out and let you know if I'm doing that, but regardless, the pick for this game, West Virginia +6, lock it in. Twitter, Instagram story to check to see if anything changes. Let's move on to the next game. Next up, we're talking Kings versus Sixers, and this line opened up Sacramento +4.5. But bets and money came in favoring Philadelphia, so this line moved from 4.5 to 5, and then eventually 5.5. Now in this game, we're seeing a lot of line movement for not that big of a money discrepancy. What are we looking at? 58, 59% of the money on Philadelphia, and the line's moving half a point, then another half a point. That seems like an overreaction. What does that tell us? If you subscribe to this channel, you already know what that tells us. That tells us the books like the Sixers in this game. They were panicking. They don't want to sell Sixers -4.5 or Philly -5 tickets. As soon as those sales started to be making, they moved the line immediately. They're trying to sell Kings tickets. So it's obvious that the books are on the Sixers here, and I'm going to side with them. Now, I know in last night's video, I capped this game out at Sacramento +5, right? So theoretically, at 5.5, I should play the Kings. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. The books like Philly, so I'm going to side with the books. Give me Sixers -5.5. Lock it in. If anything changes, I'll tweet it out and put it on my Instagram story, so make sure you check those two platforms before you lock in your bets. Let's go. Let's have another good night.